Hi, boys and girls. Let's go ahead and dive right into doing some more math together. We are going to be talking about weight today. We are comparing the weight of objects. Let's begin with talking about our learning target and our success criteria. Remember, the learning target is our goal for what we want to learn today. The learning target is I can compare the weights of two objects. The success criteria means how you will know that you've been successful at the target. Today, our success criteria are that you can explain how to compare the weights of two objects, that you can tell whether two objects have the same weight or not, and you can use words like heavier and lighter to compare the weights of two objects. So to get started, I have some objects to show you, and I want you to tell me which one you think is heavier and which one do you think is lighter. Let's start with these two objects. I have this tiny little lamb. I don't know how well, it's blurry. Sorry, I don't know why it's so blurry. I have this tiny little lamb. She's the Lammy character from Doc McStuffins. I have the lamb, and I have an orange. Which one do you think is heavier? Do you think the orange is heavier or the lamb is heavier? The orange is heavier. When I hold them in my hands and I pick them up, I can feel, oh, now it's clear. I can feel that the orange is heavier in my hands than this small little lamb character. The orange is heavier. The sheep, the lammy, is lighter. Okay, what about this? I have this pretend dollar. It says monkey money on it. And I have this book. It's a board book, Yummy Yucky. Have you ever heard of this book, Yummy Yucky? It's a funny book. All right, which do you think is heavier? Do you think the pretend dollar is heavier? Or do you think my board book is heavier? My board book is heavier. I can feel in my hands that the board book has more weight to it. It feels heavier. This is super light. Okay, how about this? I have a flower lei. I can wear it like this. Sorry it's so blurry. Hopefully it will get more clear for you in just a moment. I have this flower lei. Every time I move it gets blurry. Sorry about that. And I also have this kind of like a treasure chest. Let's see if I can pull it on over. I've got this treasure chest. What do you think is heavier? Do you think my flower lei is heavier? Or do you think my treasure chest is heavier? Let's see, I can hold it this way. What's heavier? My treasure chest is heavier. This is much heavier than this flower lei. My flower lei is very light. My treasure chest is heavier. All right, those were objects that were pretty different from each other. But what about these? I have two cans of sparkling water. This is bubbly water. Now, this one is open. And I already drank all of the bubbly water out of this one. But this one is not open. It's closed. Now the cans look the same. They're the same size as each other. But which one do you think is heavier? Do you think the empty one is heavier? Or do you think the full one is heavier? The full one is heavier because it is still filled with all of the water inside. This is very light. There is nothing in here. It's empty, so it's much lighter. I can feel in my hands that the one that's full is heavier. All right, how about these? Two water bottles. This water bottle is empty. There's no water in here. It's all the way empty. I drink all the water already. This water bottle is filled with water. It's blurry, so you can't really tell very well. You can hear it. It's filled with water. So which one do you think is heavier? They look the same. They are the same size as each other. This one is empty, and this one is full. Which one do you think is heavier? The full one is heavier. It has more inside of it, which gives it more weight. So when I hold them in my hands, I can feel that this is heavier and this is lighter. All right, let me ask you some questions now. What do you think would be lighter? Do you think your shoe or your sock would be lighter? Your sock would be lighter, right? If you were to hold both your sock and your shoe in your hands, you could feel the difference, that your shoe just had more of a weight. It was heavier, and your sock is pretty light. Your shoe is heavier and your sock is lighter. What about this? What do you think would be heavier? A backpack or a pencil? What do you think would be heavier? A backpack or a pencil? A backpack would be heavier. You've probably carried a backpack before. You put it on your back. If it's filled with stuff, it's very heavy. But even if it was empty, it would still be heavier than a pencil. A pencil is so small, so light, and a backpack is bigger and heavier. You've picked up most of those things before. You've picked up a shoe. You have picked up a sock. You've picked up a pencil. You've probably picked up a backpack. You've held those things before in your hands. So it's easy to kind of think about if it's heavy or light because you've held it before. But what if you've never held it before? Then we just have to guess. Some things we can't pick up. I'm going to show you some pictures of some animals. Some animals that you've probably never picked up before. And you're going to tell me if you think my animals are heavier or lighter than a lion. Have you ever picked up a lion before? No, I don't think you have picked up a lion before, but we can guess. We can guess if we think an animal is lighter or heavier than a lion. Let's think about this animal. A monkey. Is a monkey lighter or heavier than a lion? It's lighter. Now, I haven't held a monkey either, but I know a monkey is much smaller than a lion. And if a monkey is much smaller than a lion, there's a good chance it's also lighter than the lion. This top word right here with the L says lighter, and this word down here with the H says heavier. So if my animals are lighter than the lion, I will put them up here. If they're heavier than the lion, I will put them down here. Okay, what about the hippopotamus? Do you think a hippopotamus would be heavier or lighter than a lion? Heavier. They are very, very big animals. A hippopotamus is a huge animal. What about this? A snake. Do you think a snake is lighter than a lion or heavier than a lion? I think you're right. Lighter than a lion. All right, what about this guy? An elephant. Is an elephant lighter than a lion or heavier than a lion? It's heavier than a lion. It's big, 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 heavy animal. Much bigger and heavier than a lion. What about a rhinoceros? Is a rhinoceros heavier than a lion or lighter than a lion? It is heavier than a lion. It is much bigger, so we know it's heavier. What about the parrot? Is the parrot heavier than the lion or lighter than the lion? It's lighter than the lion. We are comparing weights today, looking to see what is heavier and what is lighter. All right, I want you to open up your math book, please, to page 660. Page 660. You're going to see some pictures that look like this. And we need to think about which pictures here are the heavier item. So the example is already done. There was what's called a clothespin and a table. And the table is heavier, so the table gets circled. We're going to circle the heavier items. Let's look at this. a stapler and a ruler. I actually have those right here with me. A stapler and a ruler. Which one is heavier? The ruler is so light. The stapler is definitely heavier than the ruler. Circle the stapler. What about these two? Are the markers the same weight? If I have two of the exact same markers, but they're just a different color, are they the same weight? Does my marker in this hand weigh the same as my marker in this hand? Yeah, they're the same. They're the same weight. So we're going to circle thumbs up. Thumbs up means yes, those are the same. All right, next page. I'm going to cover up some of these so that we can just focus on a couple at a time. All right, this time I want you to circle the object that is heavier again. So what's heavier? A box of crayons or a crayon by itself? What's heavier? All these crayons are heavier in a box than the one crayon by itself. The whole box of crayons is heavier. What is heavier, a feather or an apple? An apple is heavier. A feather is so light you could go and it would float off. Not an apple. It would go ka-chunk and land on the ground really hard. An apple is definitely heavier than a feather. All right. Now I have a different plan for you. On these two problems, I want you to draw a line through the object that is lighter. So we have two backpacks. One backpack is full of items. The other backpack is empty. Which one is lighter? The empty backpack is lighter. It doesn't have anything in it to weight it down and make it heavier. The backpack that is full is heavier. What about a pencil and a book? What is lighter? A pencil and a book. Yeah, a pencil is lighter. It's much smaller. There's not much to a pencil. It's very lightweight and the book is heavier. All right, we have a brick and a box of tissue. They are about the same size as each other, and they are the same shape as each other. Are they the same weight? Yes or no? What do you think? Are they the same weight? No, a brick is much heavier than a box of tissue. All right, turn this paper over. Look at these pictures. Here you have a picture of a binder and a desk. I want you to circle the object that you can carry easily. What is the object you can carry easily? Is it the binder or is it the desk? Why do you think you can carry a binder so easily? It's small and it's not very heavy. The desk is so big and it's so heavy, we cannot carry a desk very easily. Okay, what about these things? We have a school bus and a lunchbox. This time, I want you to circle the object that you cannot carry. Which one of these things cannot carry? Which one can you not carry? I know, I cannot carry the school bus. Someone tell me why I cannot carry the school bus. It is too heavy. Mrs. Mackenzie is not strong enough to carry a school bus, that's for sure. All right, let's move to the practice page. On the example, they had grapes and watermelon and they circled the heavier object. And then they had a teddy bear and a toy truck and they drew a line through the lighter object. Now with these two, both the chair and the glue and the tape and the folder, I want you to circle the heavier object. Okay, circle the heavier object here and circle the heavier object here. I'm going to do that too and pull my paper away. Then let's check our work together. Okay, don't move on though. Only do those two, just those two problems. All right, let's see what we did. I circled the chair. I think the chair is heavier than the glue. And then I circled the tape. I might have tape with me. Oh, I do. Just a minute. Let's see if I can reach it. Here it is. This is my tape. It's like that picture. It's actually very heavy for how small it is. It's actually surprisingly heavy. It is much heavier than just a paper folder. So the tape is heavier. Okay, on these ones, I want you to draw a line through the lighter object. So there's a cell phone and a computer, and a baseball and a balloon. Please draw a line through the lighter object. I will do the same thing, and we'll check our work. All right, did you draw a line through the cell phone? The cell phone is lighter than the laptop. And then, of course, balloons are so very light. That's lighter than the baseball. Okay, turn your paper over. With the feathers and with the bananas, I want you to answer this question. Are the objects the same weight? Yes or no? You circle the thumb to show your answer. Are the objects the same weight? Okay, I did mine. Let's check our answers. With the feathers, yes, they are the same weight. They're the same object, just with a different color, which doesn't change the weight. So the blue feather and the red feather are the same weight. With this one, I said no, because this is a whole bunch of bananas together. That's going to be heavier than just one banana. So no, those are not the same weight. Last one, there's a piano and a violin. Please circle the object that you can carry. Which one can you carry? All right, everyone, did you circle the violin? That piano is much too heavy to carry. We cannot carry the piano, but we can carry the violin. So today, you were successful if you can compare the weight of two objects. If you can tell me if two objects have the same weight, and if you can use words like heavier and lighter to compare the weight of the two objects. All right, great job in math today. I'll see you next time.